KFM.
It's being recorded. Got it.
All
yeah,
right.
No,
brother is watching.
Yeah, exactly. No, anyway, last time we saw each other was in Chicago. So
yes, which is crazy. And I was thinking about that as I was like going over just the history of all of your music and that, and thinking like, okay, obviously that was for Bright to Death. Did we hear any of these songs that's on the new album on that tour? No.
No, we played Influencer on that tour.
Okay.
Not on the album, but it was a single that came out after. Yeah.
Right.
So there was like some in between tracks. There was Go But Not Too Far and Influencer, which I think we played on that tour, even though they weren't officially on an album.
That's right.
Yeah. I do remember there being new songs that night, and I was really excited, thinking, oh, yay, new film school material on the way. Yep. But then I was trying to piece together. I don't have good enough memory to like know that it was something that was coming out on this new album. So.
And then you'll never hear it again.
No.
We were just talking about our set, like what we want to play for the upcoming shows. So.
Oh, okay, that's very exciting because, of course, that's a question I was going to ask here. So let's just jump right into that. Because I was, obviously, pandemic nightmare, not sure like who's doing tours and things like that. So, tour is on the horizon.
I mean, it's
in a perfect world.
Yeah, I think that obviously we're interested in playing some of the new songs out. We were talking with our booker, and it sounds like some shows are being booked, and there are some, there's some thoughts that maybe there'll be like testing at venues, or not. You have to show up with your Vax card.
Right.
And a current test. So, there might be a way.
I hope so. If it's anywhere in the Midwest area, count me in.
That might be a little harder, but
I'm sure. I am sure.
We'll see.
We can all have dreams, right?
Yeah.
So let's start. I'm going to obviously be pulling some of this for the show.
Yeah.
So this is going to be for Drown in a Sea of Sound on DKFM. Obviously, you guys know by now, I would hope you know that DKFM, we are huge lovers of you guys, have been for many, many years, I think, as long as the station's been around. And I speak for myself and everyone there. I remember quite clearly, I think it was the 2018 like best albums of the year, like without a doubt, every single one of us had Bright to Death on there. So we're all very excited about the new album. And I think it's just a cool opportunity. I've obviously read through your bio and everything and what's coming up, but I would like to hear it from you guys if you're open to that, just telling me a little bit more about the new album, which is going to be called We Weren't Here. This is your 6th full-length album. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
couple lineup changes over the years.
I mean, it took us 20 years to get there, but yeah.
I feel you. I know how that is. But hey, how awesome that like your seeds have been planted and your roots run so deep that you just continue to do this and your sound evolves and you just roll with it. And I think that's amazing. Yeah. So for this new album, just a couple little things that I had picked up on in reading through the bio that I thought were really cool was just kind of how it came to be and that it was a different recording experience for you guys. Was this the first time that you have done everything remotely? And can you tell us a little bit more about that and how this whole album came to be?
Well, Justin could probably start it off because a lot of the ideas kind of started with Justin, actually. There were some ideas from the desert, from our past, like the Bright to Death session. And then, I don't know, Justin.
Yeah, so some of the stuff is from the Joshua Tree recording session that we just didn't finish it was just kind of half done. Okay. So we finished some of those things. And then after Bright to Death, we were kind of working remotely. So for those EPs that I had mentioned that we were playing during the last tour, we had been recording those all remotely. So like we usually start as like a demo from me or Greg or Niles, and then they sort of get passed around and added to and kind of built up. And so that's how this whole record kind of happened, just, kind of mining this catalog of demos that we had and new ideas. And once the kind of creative ball got rolling, then we had, an album's worth of songs. And then we went to the studio with, Dan, who's like our producer mixer guy, and recorded Adam playing the drums on them. So yeah, that's kind of how they all went down.
It's amazing. I think it's just incredible to see like what modern technology allows us to do now, especially as a
Right.
you guys are like spread out all over the place. But oh my gosh, what we have done without that stuff during COVID, especially, like I think there's not been many good things to come out of that, but I think on a music or creative front, it's been one of the best things to come out of it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really cool because you are all living in different areas, right? The current lineup.
Three of us live in LA. No, four of us live in LA and two in the Bay Area.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
All in California.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah. Makes it a little bit.
I would say so. Cause like with my band's experience, I'm all about the remote cause that's all we've ever done. So like we're opposite sides of the States, or I work with Andy in Switzerland and it's all remote. So I have a heart for that. And I think it's amazing.
I didn't know that.
Pull off that way. Yeah. Yeah. It's back in the day we were, doing more live stuff in the same room, same time, but we evolved with the times. So
yeah,
but I definitely understood that. And I thought it was cool. Something else I thought was really neat, as I was reading just the current stuff about this release, is your new label, and just the Sonic Ritual is the label that you guys are putting this out on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're a label here in LA, part of the Eternal Music Group. And we're really excited. They're like kind of they're just like this perfect fit for where we are at as a band. They're first of all, they're total audiophiles. They just love music. So it's always nice when your label is big fans of music. They're kind of just getting started too. So they're really like thoughtful and really want to work with the artist, that's wonderful. And then
the concept, right?
I know. Yeah. And then they're also just really supportive of our kind of situation, as a band. Like we're not going to be grinding 265 days a year on the road.
Yes.
We're not, we just have kind of full lives, all of us. So, they're cool with that. They're just like, you guys just, do you, we'll take care of the album. We'll take care of the PR, we'll take care of, like helping you just, distribution and all that stuff. So it's great. It's a great setup. Yeah. I mean, they're great people too. So.
Well, sounds like a win-win where everyone benefits from it, and nobody's taking control where you don't want to give it, especially in this day and age when you can do self-releases. In my opinion, that's how a label should go about it. So that's cool. I'm excited to see more of what they put out. And I was happy to read that because I could imagine as a creator that's what you're looking for at this point.
Yeah, for sure.
For the release date, can you tell us a little more about that? Like I know we've got 3 singles out so far on this album, which I'm going to be playing 2 on the show. Okay. So I've chosen Isla, and then I'm going to play Said Your Name. Okay. So you guys have released 3 singles so far. And can you tell us a little bit more about what's to come, what we can look forward to, release dates, all that official stuff?
Yeah. Let's see. The album is September 24th. Is that right, Justin?
Yep.
Yeah. I think there's one more single that's going to be coming out.
Awesome.
In the early September. It's going to be 10 tracks.
Sorry. Yeah, 10 tracks.
Yeah,
10 tracks.
Super excited.
Yeah. It's funny, like I was listening to Justin kind of talk about the different songs and the way they've all come about. Like, Isla is an interesting song because that song was written and done like 5 years ago.
Really?
Yeah. Oh. And this was pre like Adam, our new drummer, Adam Wade. He played on Bright to Death, but he wasn't really making any calls about like music and what to include on albums and stuff like that. And so we kind of had our songs, we put them on, we decided Isla probably wasn't a fit, and I don't know, there was kind of a mediocre reaction to it. So we just kind of shelved it. And then as we were going through songs, we were kind of playing different things. And then I said, well, I'll just play this one for Adam, and Adam, his like response was like, are you kidding me? Like, he's like, he said something about like wanting to hang out in Malibu with the Edge, drinking cocktails or something like that. I mean, it was just like, so we were kind of like, oh, okay, cool. Well, if you like it, then, maybe we should put it on the album, and that was kind of the thing with Super Perfection too. It was a total outlier. It was
and they're now the two of the singles, two of the three.
Yeah, they were like the first two singles. Yeah, and we were both like, oh, you like them? Okay, well, cool. Let's put it on the album, and
So, that is awesome. And then how did you guys decide? Like, who decides the singles? Did you guys collectively come up with the fact that those were going to be your first three, or?
No, that was all decided by the managers and the label. Managers and label. So we have two managers. They're kind of a team.
That's awesome.
Justin and Steve, yeah, they're awesome. And the label, they kind of said, hey, we think we should go this route. So we're like, hey, whatever.
I think that's super inspiring to know that there are songs that could have potentially been shelved or maybe not seen the light of day, and then someone else hears them and thinks, nope, these are singles. So
yeah.
Well, we're historically like very self-critical, and I think that's probably derailed. That's probably derailed things previously that maybe could have seen, a release or something. So Adam is great in that respect, in that he's, he's often the person who's like, this is really great. Like, what are you guys talking about? We should release this, which, is like kind of a nice person to have in the mix when we're usually having these debates.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, always they say artists are their own worst critics, and it is so true. And sometimes you just truly need that outside perspective to make you realize what a gem you have on your hands. So that's exciting. Well, I certainly love those two songs. I've had an advanced listen thanks to Katie sending me the link of the full album. So I am very excited. I know that people are going to love this very much so. I think it's so cool too, though, is that I feel like you guys are never predictable, which is awesome. I don't feel like you're doing any kind of like cookie cutter releases. There's always that like signature film school thread in your songs, but I think there's like some evolution in your sound on this album that I'm excited about. I think it's like something a little different. So do you feel that? Or, I mean, do you feel like you tried new things, or is it just like, oh, we've kind of always been doing this?
You can answer that, Justin. I know what Justin's going to say, but
I don't know. I think there's some different songs on this record for sure, but I think there's always, to your point, I think there is always like a film school thing that we do well, not necessarily on purpose. It just seems to happen.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that both of those sides are represented. I'm glad. I love to hear that people think that the record's different and that the band is growing creatively, but I also like to hear that. Yeah, it sounds like film school, because like I think that there is something to be said for having a sound, that's not somebody else's sound,
Never. That's what I think. I mean, it's such a signature sound that no question. I mean, I'm usually pretty on top of when you guys have new releases, but I often just think that I can't think of another band that has your sound. And I think that's something very cool. I will say Bright to Death was such a peak, like goes down in records of all, like favorite records of all time for me. And I'm like total, oh my gosh, I'm obsessed, but
that's awesome.
Myself and many others. So hopefully you've been feeling the love from that. That's but awesome. Sometimes it's like you have that, what you consider to be just like that perfect album. And then you hear the next stuff and it's like, ooh, and no, you guys have like kept that. It's very exciting. I, as a fan, am really excited for you guys. I think you're going to be feeling lots of love from lots of people on this.
That's cool.
Trying to think of if there's any other, highlights or anything we should share with fans. I put a few notes here. September 24th?
Yeah, September 24th. Well, no, I was going to talk a little bit about that too, because what Justin was saying is, I think that, Krissy, you understand this, being a kind of a sound rock band, there are these buckets that people put you in, and, DKFM really has a following that is as a certain, they want a certain sound, it's called dream pop or shoegaze or any of that stuff, you know that there's an audience that is expecting or wanting a certain sound, in some ways. And so, I think that, as it's like, as an artist, you're trying to not do a genre exercise. You know what I mean? I love shoegaze stuff. I love dream pop stuff. I'm not here to engage our band in a genre exercise though. We're trying to write stuff that we feel is interesting to us, is keeping us interested in music in general, and so it's always a challenge, I think, because like we're not like pigeonholed in any one genre, right? Like I think, but the problem is that once people start saying, "Oh yeah, that band's shoegaze band," then it's sort of like, well, can we put this on an album? Are we the shoegaze band? Like who are we anymore? So, it's like you appreciate an audience and a fan base and being, having like your tribe, but that can also be suffocating, and it's, yeah. So, as a band, we really try to allow ourselves to, like Super Perfection to me was one of those songs. Like I just wasn't sure how it fit in. I think sometimes there are songs on our albums for sure that we're just not sure how it's going to fit in. So, it's cool to hear you say that we have this sound and, and that sound is continually being written and expanded upon. I think that's one of the greatest compliments you can really give an artist, is something along those lines, so it's really cool to hear that.
I think it's probably coming to you guys natural because you're obviously not being so concerned about like paint by number shoegaze and fitting within genre boxes and making sure like everything is so regimented to where you're just writing from your heart. And I think the core of who you are is going to come through in those songs. I hear it, like I said, it's a signature thread, whether it's just a little tiny thread woven through your songs or just like, oh my gosh, this is like absolutely signature film school through and through. But I have such respect for that because I think I personally tend to gravitate to bands who are taking, the core of everything that we love about shoegaze and dream pop and then expanding on it and doing something innovative with it and stretching the sound and stretching limits and stuff. Because if I want to listen to My Bloody Valentine, I'll listen to My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah.
Whereas
exactly.
if it's like a band that's going to do just My Bloody Valentine, like this is how they achieved it and never work outside of that. It still takes talent, a talent I don't have, but I just I'm more like I lean into like bands like you guys that are just taking some of those things that we love about the sound and then making it your own. So
yeah, I mean, there's like this, like when you hear bands like covering or writing original music, but it sounds like they're covering other bands. Sometimes it's good, but generally, like it feels like I don't know. There's like this lack of authenticity,
Absolutely.
And I think that that's something that we're really like aware of, and what Justin's referring to. Like we can be very critical of ourselves because it's like, are we being authentic here, or are we just trying to like write something that is, I don't know, kowtowing, to a genre or something like that. So it's, it's nice to, I feel like for me, this music that we've been writing the last couple albums, is just like some of the best, like the most connected music that I've written in a while. So it's cool.
I love it.
Yeah. Or that I've worked on.
Right. And like, yeah, like to your point, Greg, about trying to sound unique. The other side of that is like, but I like My Bloody Valentine. I like that sound. I can't help myself. Like I'm inspired by that sound, so it's like this balancing act between like wanting to do something different, wanting to do our own thing, but also being like, I can't help myself. Like I like this riff because it sounds like this other thing that I am inspired by, so
yeah,
absolutely.
I don't want to knock other bands that
definitely not. I just
do that. It's
for sure. I mean, respect again. It's not
number one. We can't do it because we've tried. We can't do it. We can't sound like that.
I sing for bands. Ask me to play for a guitar. I could never do it. So respect to anyone doing any of it because I can't.
It's so hard. Yeah.
But it's just, I guess just my point.
I don't know how to do it.
I hope people will not be afraid to color outside of the lines, I guess is my point. Like I think there's an audience there that will love that there is some of that like classic shoegaze element, but like appreciate that people are doing something of their own with it too. So yeah, I think you guys do that. You do it well. You can tell where some of your influences are for sure, which I think is very cool as well. But I couldn't think of another band off the top of my head that sounds like you guys, which I think is also amazing. So
yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Pleasure. My pleasure. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think I have a whole lot more here. Just wanted to share the exciting news of the new album. And I love that there were the idea of some potential shows, but probably more West Coast than at this point.
Probably, yeah. Not only is it like difficult to play right now with venues, but everyone's trying to play right now.
Yeah, true.
And, everyone's trying to squeeze in some shows because it's been a year and a half. Yeah. So whatever we can get on the books, it's going to be pretty sparse probably for 2021.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll have some good news soon.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
I'll be here to support it. Not sure I'll be on the West Coast, but I'll be listening and playing, and hopefully you guys will come through the Midwest again. Yeah. Anything else that you would like to share just in general with listeners and fans?
Justin, what do you got?
It's great to have Noelle with us.
Oh, yes. How amazing. Actually, thank you for bringing that up, because I meant to touch on that, because she sings on several songs on this album. And I know she did one of the singles that you guys released, or was it?
She sang on Go, but Not Too Far, I think.
Okay. No, she sang on Don't You Ever.
Okay.
And Go too, right?
Did she?
Or am I misremembering?
I don't know.
Anyways, she's been kind of singing and helping out like a little bit here and there, and she got kind of more of a feature role in one of the songs on this new record, and more prominent on a couple other songs. And so we thought it would be great to just try to play live with her. So she's been practicing with us.
Oh, how exciting. And she, for those that don't know, Wild Signals, she is in that band. Yes.
Okay. Yes.
And she is now, I've even seen like in the band photos. So is she just officially on board film school moving forward?
I mean, she's going to be at our shows, and she's at a place, I think, where she's contributed so much that it's almost like this broken social scene kind of thing going on, where we have she's got a strong presence in the band now. So
yeah, I love it. I think she's a very welcome addition for sure. I love her voice. I've loved what she's added to the song. So
she's a guitar player too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
More to come.
Yeah, totally.
We are here for it.
Yeah.
We are here for it. Well, thank you guys so much for being willing to do this. And I'm sure people will be excited to hear more of the album and just hear this little bit about the album. I'll have Greg keep some stuff together for the show. So I'm going to be airing it, the audio portion of this, and 2 of the singles I'll be playing on my show next Wednesday. So the show is called Drown in a Sea of Sound. Obviously, I'll share and tag that, and then we'll probably post this video on the DKFM website. I'll have Greg get on that. So really grateful, appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks so much, Krissy. We really appreciate it. Yeah,
love for you.
Yeah,
guys.
thank you.